What's up, folks? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about optimism. Guys, optimism's a bad investment. And I'm going to talk about exactly why I think it's a bad investment. I think down the line, it could be very good because it's a strong layer 2. But right now, it's a bad investment. And if you're looking at it, considering it, or you're in it, you're going to want to pay attention to this. Before I get into that, though, I update the spreadsheet. Now, these are the first 26 coins I spoke about on the channel. If you had invested $100 into each of these and cashed out at the highs of the bull cycle last year, you would have been in profit for 123 grand from 2,600 investment. If, however, you were still holding all that crypto, you'd be in profit for 11.5 grand. That's the difference between bull cycle and bear cycle. Anyway, I'm buying up cryptos during this bear cycle. I bought a couple so far. I've already got strong positions in others. I'm looking at adding brand new cryptos to my holdings soon enough. And they're going to be cryptos that I believe can do those 40x's, 50x's, 100x's. If you want to see the coins that I'm buying up right now, the ones that I believe can have those staggeringly good gains, then come check out Copy My Crypto, guys. The link's in the description. See the site, see the success stories. And if it doesn't resonate with you, don't join, but you can keep watching these videos. Guys, look. Optimism's at $1.47. It's having a huge pump today. And it's been having a huge pump all week, effectively. It's been out for effectively 2 months. Now, there's things people need to pay attention to. Firstly, the circulating supply right now is about 5% of the total supply. That is a problem. That's a very big problem when you look at what the token distribution model is going to be. So Optimism have organized things as follows. So the user airdrops were 19%. There's 90% allocation for user airdrops. So the first user airdrop distributed 5% of the tokens. There's a future 2 or 3 airdrops that are going to distribute 14%. So here's the thing. If you are looking to get this airdrop, start using Optimism when you're on Uniswap or when you're on synthetics, or whenever you get the opportunity, use Optimism, because then you will be entitled to an airdrop at some point. It's very possible. But another 14% of that's coming. Anyway, ecosystem funds 25%. But there's a lot of information here that's just not presented. Okay, so look, partner fund. Seed fund. So, an allocation of 5.4% will be dedicated to the seed fund, which is a fund for early stage projects launching in and adjacent to the Optimism ecosystem. That's fine. But then there's other little ones that aren't great, right? So 19% is for core contributors, and that'll be subject to a lockup period. You've got 17% for early investors, again, a lockup period. But then when you actually look at the token distribution timeline, this is important. By the end of year 1, they're saying more than 50%. So let's call it, let's call it 50%. Let's just straight call it 50% instead of what it looks like, which is about 60%. 50% of the tokens by the end of year 1. So that means by June of next year, there are going to be 2.15 billion tokens, at least. That means the circulating supply is effectively 10xing. At least. More, technically more, because that's about 60%. So the token supply is going to 10x by this time next year. That's a lot of tokens all of a sudden dropped on an ecosystem. If you've now got let's just round it. Let's call it 2.5 billion tokens. If it's staying at that price point, or 2 billion tokens, let's use 2 billion. Staying at that price point, you're effectively saying that Optimism now has a 3 billion market cap. That's huge. Now Optimism's quality is a good layering solution. It's not the best. There are better. Right now it's riding a wave of Ethereum. number of projects right now are riding a really nice wave of Ethereum's momentum. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing DeFi, we're seeing layering solutions, we're seeing DEXs. They are riding Ethereum's wave. And they're gaining more than Ethereum. Of course they've got low market cap. But in the next 10 months, we're going to see 2 billion tokens dumped onto Optimism. That is a shit ton. And what my point is, I think Optimism can do very well long term, but that as an entry price is terrible. If they're going to dump 2 billion tokens, remember, some of that is going to be for early investors. What did early investors get in at a price point? 1 cent? May have been 1 cent. Let's say it's 1 cent. They've made 150x or 148x on the price right now. Of course they're going to sell everything. Core contributors. Well, they've worked for it. Whatever price point how many tokens they got, why the hell wouldn't they sell them? And this is the thing, we're looking at a huge amount of these tokens just dumping on the market. Now, the query, I suppose, is where do you think we're in a third wave of a bull cycle, or do you think, look, this is going to be a bear cycle that lasts a while? But just off of a logical basis, right? Early investors are going to dump their tokens. People that are getting community rewards, likely going to dump their tokens. Ecosystem funds and stuff, they're likely to trade in and out of their tokens. Future airdrops, it looks like there's going to be another future airdrop at some point, certainly in the first year, at the end of year one, if not, in another 6 months. But again, there's 14% of the tokens, but they're going to be user airdrops. If you're a user, you get airdropped a couple grand's worth of tokens, and that money is really valuable to you. Dump it, cash out. I cannot see how it sustains its price point for a year. It may well double in the short term. If Ethereum runs up, breaks through 2.5, we could easily see Optimism double from this point. Personally, I'm looking at it going, well, at some point it's got to have a retracement. Even if Ethereum continues to rally, this will continue to rally. But as those tokens start entering the supply, people are going to sell. And I think we could see a real huge price capitulation for Optimism over the course of sort of year and a half, 2 years. And we could easily see Optimism well below $1. If we actually just look at the lowest it got to 40 cents, effectively, or thereabouts. If all of a sudden 2 billion tokens land on the market, and there's a huge sell-off, even at 40 cents, that's still an 800 million market cap. That's massive. That's more than double of what it is right now. So I would make the argument that logically, we could see Optimism drop lower, 20 cents, maybe lower. And then, interesting entry point. Then it's an interesting entry point, because if more than half the tokens are out, and you're looking at around about a 20-cent coin, then that's got a good shot of making you some money. But right now, yeah, maybe in the short term you could double your money. I don't think we're done with the bear cycle personally. I think Optimism will ride the coattails of Ethereum's gains as the merge comes to fruition. But that token distribution model should be a cause for concern. By the end of year 4, all the tokens are out. So that means by 2026, June of 2026, every token's out. And if every token's out and it's still at this price, it would be a 6 billion market cap. Just can't see it. Can't see it yet. Optimism, logically, if the ecosystem grows, they could do very, very well. but I just don't see how all those tokens are airdropped and tons of them are not dumped immediately. And it's something you got to bear in mind, because that is a very, very, very goddamn small percentage of the total supply. And 2 billion are coming. So just wanted to present this because I'm seeing it pump. And it might be traders trying to get a nice short-term gain. But if you're thinking about it long-term, this is going to capitulate in price when those tokens start getting dropped. So I just wanted to present that. I'm sure there's going to be Optimism fans that are really bullish and, want to kick my ass or whatever. They're certainly right, some nasty comments. But token distribution models are important, and you've got to bear in mind how the tokens are going to be released. The tokens are going to be released in, as the tokens are released, especially when you've got this tiny supply, you've got to understand that particularly the initial investors, most of them will dump because it's huge profit for them. Core contributors could very easily dump because they're working for free until, they get paid. They get paid in the ecosystem token. So they're probably going to want to earn some money. So just something to consider. Again, I think Optimism is good. I don't think it's the best by far. Arbitrum arguably is better. Polygon. So, yeah, that's it. I hope you like the video. If you're an Optimism holder and you hate it, then hate it if you want. It's no problem. Yeah, subscribe to the channel and comment. Let me know if you're an Optimism holder. Do you see the point I'm making in terms of a cause for concern? In terms of market dump for Optimism, let me know in the comments down below. If you guys want to see the coins I'm buying up in the bear cycle, the ones I believe have that huge run in them for the next bull cycle, those 40x's, 50x's, 100x's, then come check out Copy My Crypto. In the previous bear cycle, I spoke in particular about 6 coins that I thought were outstanding, and these 6 ended up being the biggest gainers with 677 times, 48 times, 58 times, 62, 52, 61. Those gains can be made in a bear cycle. So if you want to see those coins that I'm buying, just click the link in the description, guys, and check it out. And that's it from me. Take it easy. Bye-bye.